alert to do it quickly and get off the airstrip and into the dispersal area. I got out of the Air Force at the end, demobilised. I can remember being woken up in Borneo when the war finished. A man woke me up and said, "The war is over, mate," Australian language, "the war is over, mate. They dropped an atom bomb." And I thought, "Have a drink." He said, "Have a drink." And I thought, what is an atom bomb? Flash Gordon, death rays, comic strips, this is true.
Yeah.
And then I thought, if the war's over, I'm going home. So that was it. I went home to Mum. Mum was pleased to see me, but can you imagine how boring it was?
Yep.
Flying Kitty Hawks, home to Mum. And there was a period of adjustment there that went on for years, and it was a period of intense loneliness. And I didn't realise that at the time. What was the matter? I thought mentally I was a little bit out of whack. It was loneliness. You've been surrounded by men for years, all in together, and suddenly you're home with Mum. And the whole structure that you had been involved in, it finished. The skills you'd learnt, not necessary, and I went back to the bank. Next minute I'm balancing the petty cash. How awful, how shockingly awful. Well, I didn't realise that at the time. I thought it was a mental block. But as I said before, my Air Force career taught me a lot about flying, and subsequently when I went top dressing, initially with Keith Ellington's group, Keith was in the business here in a big way, my ex-Air Force flying saved me on quite a few occasions when I was actually dung dusting at low level. And the only thing I missed top dressing was I didn't have a parachute. You had to stay with the aeroplane, and that bothered me. So there you go. Keith, have a go.
All right, Max. I'm Keith Ellington, 85 years old, and I went into camp in January 41. Came off a farm, as green as the grass that was on it, and went into Levin, did the course there at Levin and struck the navigation exam, put the wind vector in from the opposite direction, put the V on the wrong end, and consequently had to stay back and do another 8 weeks, I think, at Levin. Then from Levin went to Herwood, which was EFTS at that time. Tiger Moss, solid in 7 hours. Then went to, we were kept back for a few extra hours, about 5 hours, and about 3 hours link trainer to go to Canada, some of us, and went to Canada to Dauphin, which is in Manitoba, about 200 miles northwest of Winnipeg. Nothing of consequence happened except we were flying on harbours, and the Canadian instructor wouldn't let us go in for a ride in the harbour until we could sit in the cockpit blindfolded and put our hand on any instrument or control. So consequently, but we survived and got our wings and went across to England, then to Blackpool, to Liverpool rather, and then down to Bournemouth into a pilot's pool. Was there for a fortnight, and two of us, Cedric Young and myself, got sent to OTU, 51 OTU, which is Heston, the only OTU in 11 group, which was just on the tube, length of the tube from London. I think it's Heathrow now, it's been taken into Heathrow. Did, I don't know how many hours, not many hours, on Spit 1s, 2s, 1s and 2s, all the clapped out Spits of the Battle of Britain that were left there. That was in early in 42 then, by that time, and by the end of 41, 42, successfully passed that out. Or I can tell you a little story about the Spits. that in London we had the Slough balloons, the Brooklyn balloons and the London balloons all just out of the circuit. And one of the staff pilots said to me, he said, you better start turning when you take off before, this was the first trip, as soon as you take off, start turning. He said, otherwise you'll lose sight of it with all the mist and fog and stuff around London. So that was successfully completed, and I did, I think it was 30 hours. Then got sent to a squadron which in Scotland, in Peterhead, which was my first sight of snow, and it was absolutely covered in snow, about 3 foot deep. I had to wade through it to go to the mess, and Spits were hardly see them. All we did was dig Spitfires out of snow, and then they scraped the runways with the dozers and gave us a valley down amongst the snow to take off, which we did. I think the 132 Squadron, which I was sent to, was only there for reforming after a spell in Leadenhall, and then we were sent to the Orkney Islands, supposed to be defensive Scapa Flow, which was, there was no snow up there, funnily enough. It was further north, but no snow. Then Cedric and I went to the CO, and as we had an interview, when we got there and said, how about we get posted? But posting is somewhere down south, and we thought it was getting further away from the war, you see. So we got posted, all right. We ended up in North Africa. We pilots pool for a bit again, and then onto a ship, and onto the Alcantara, which was a naval ship, a converted Virtuman, a brand new one, converted to Navy. It was run by the Navy, and out to West Africa, to Freetown. From Freetown, we had a week in Freetown Harbour, doing nothing, and then we were taken around the coast to Tiggerati, I think it was, and we got off there, and then we were sent to Accra and then back to Tiggerati. Involved mostly rides there by Pan American Airways, and we were flown, picked up by Pan American and for Khartoum, and then into a pilot's pool